Okay, so while we wait the last 2 minutes here, I'm going to put myself on mute and we'll wait for folks to gather, and then we'll get started about 5 minutes after.
Okay, so there's a green room, so we don't have to worry about noises on this end.
We are being recorded right now, but I think we
Okay.
can also, adjust. So I am just going to collect myself here for a minute on mute, and then I'll be back on in a few minutes to kind of welcome folks as they come in.
Okay.
I'm going to mute out too, Jessica. I mean, Jason. Blah.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. As we're gathering here, we're just going to wait a few more minutes to let folks get in the webinar, and we'll begin about 5 after. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is Jessica. I'm here at the Move to Amend National Office in Sacramento. And I've got my friends on the line here, Ruthie Engelke from the Move to Amend National Leadership Team, and Jason Bayless from the Pachamama Alliance. And the three of us are going to talk today about Move to Amend and the Pachamama Alliance and the partnership we have and the work that we do together. So you'll see a chat bar here on the left-hand side of your screen, and it'd be great if y'all could let me know that you can hear me there, just so I know everything's working okay. And meanwhile, I will move us into the next slide here, which is the webinar orientation and some tips for participating. So you should be hearing me now. Haven't seen anyone in the chat bar. There you are. Thank you, Mary. Great. So if you do have any questions, you can call our office. They can help you get in, or you can call or email the support@anymeeting.com if any time during this recording you're having a hard time with tech stuff. Okay, so today's agenda, we're going to do a quick overview of Move to Amend in case there's anyone on the call who needs a refresher. And then we will move into an introduction of the Pachamama Alliance, who they are and what sort of work they do. Then we'll talk about specifically programs and community and collaboration with Move to Amend, which will transition us into talking a little bit about the work that we've already done together and the work that we continue to do and ways you can get involved with Pachamama Alliance. And then we'll take questions there at the end. However, if you have questions in the meantime, feel free to just chat them there on the chat bar on the left-hand side. Okay, so we'll get started with talking a bit about Move to Amend in general. So Move to Amend is a coalition of hundreds of organizations and hundreds of thousands of folks committed to social and economic justice, to ending corporate rule, and to building a vibrant democracy that's accountable to the people and not to corporate interests. So Move to Amend was formed about 5 years ago when Citizens United decision was coming down from the Supreme Court. And there was a group of folks representing a variety of organizations who had been doing work on corporate power for decades already, and they came together around this decision, knowing that Citizens United would have major implications. And so they kind of put up a splash page to see, who would be interested, and it crashed overnight. People were so interested in this work. So that's sort of the birth story of Move to Amend, and ever since we've been working to build a movement in order to resist corporate power. So specifically, the goals of Move to Amend are to pass the We the People Amendment to make clear that corporations and other artificial entities do not have constitutional rights and that money is not speech. So our amendment, which is HJR 48 in the House, is inclusive of both of those pillars. However, Move to Amend's goal is also larger than this, really, and that is to provoke discussion and organizing around how to make real the promise of American democracy through constitutional renewal. So we have folks on the ground all around the country who are educating and organizing and passing resolutions and drawing the lines between corporate power and other fronts of struggle, and working within their communities to resist this on a local and national level. So a little bit about our principles and values and sort of what makes us who we are. Move to Amend is dedicated to anti-oppression and solidarity organizing. So that means that we approach our work with a solidarity organizing framework, because we know that corporate rule affects us all, but particularly it affects communities of color, LGBTQ folks, women, and others who are at the intersection of oppressions. And so we work in solidarity with groups that are on the front lines who are most impacted by corporate rule. And we see this as really essential to the work that we do in building a democracy, because we know that we need to understand how oppression and corporate power relate to each other in order to have a strong movement. We also value coalition and movement building. So we are building a movement which has the political muscle to make the type of changes that we're talking about, which requires building a multiracial and multi-ethnic and cross-class and intergenerational, really dynamic movement. And so we work in coalition with hundreds of other organizations, Pachamama Alliance being one of them, who work on issues that are impacted by corporate power in order to grow strength and numbers. So we are certainly not in this fight alone. There are hundreds and hundreds of organizations that we work with in a variety of ways. The Pachamama Alliance is an organization that we work very closely with, and others that we work with on a local level, on a national level, and in all kinds of capacities. So that's really central to the way that we organize, as is grassroots organizing. So Move to Amend affiliates, some other organizations may call them chapters, are in communities all over the country, in rural areas and cities, and they work to educate about corporate power, and as I said before, passing resolutions, and really building for power at this stage. We believe that an end to corporate rule can only happen from the bottom up. So this means that the majority of our focus right now is on the people. So we do some lobbying for our amendment, but even that happens mostly on a grassroots level from our affiliates. And we're focusing on igniting and mobilizing people right now at the stage we're in. And we see this really as a marathon that we've taken on and not so much a sprint. So that means we have to build from the ground up. And so grassroots organizing is really central to how we see this being done. Move to Amend also has a dedication to political education, so that we know that this is part of our ongoing work and will be forever, especially until we pass this amendment. So grassroots leaders from our affiliates, as well as staff, board, interns, everyone goes through a movement education program where we continue to learn about past movements, intersectionality, and the origins of corporate power, because we know that we stand on the shoulders of giants here, and we have to learn from past movements in order to build now and be effective. Move to Amend is also dedicated to political and economic independence. So Move to Amend is a nonpartisan organization, and we don't support or endorse candidates or parties. We know that corporate power runs deep in our political system, and we have a commitment to remain independent. This also means that we don't take donations from organizations that will look to influence our agenda or strategy. So it gives us a lot more flexibility and power to do what we know is right, if we're not trying to appease large foundations and political parties and things like that. So we really value that independence, and it's really central to the work that we're doing as well. It also allows us to appeal to folks across parties, because most people agree with us about the problems that we're facing and what we need to do to fix it. So it gives us that power to be able to talk to folks from across the spectrum. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce you to my friends here who are on the line. First, I'll introduce Jason Bayless and let him just say a quick hello, and then I'll introduce Ruthie, and then we'll let Jason take over to tell us a little bit about the Pachamama Alliance. Jason, do you want to say hi?
Hello. How's everyone?
And Ruthie.
Hello there. Nice to be here tonight.
Excellent. Well, Jason, I will hand this over to you now to talk a little bit about Pachamama.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jessica. And thank you for everyone who joined this call tonight and who are interested in this partnership that Move to Amend and Pachamama Alliance has. I personally am very excited about this partnership because of the very things that Jessica just went over. And especially for a personal standpoint, I really love that Move to Amend is focused on building an anti-oppression framework, because I personally believe that that's critical. So this partnership that we have is beautiful, and I'm so happy to be here. So let me give you a quick overview of what I want to present to you tonight, and it's just a quick overview of what Pachamama Alliance, who Pachamama Alliance is, where we came from, and about our programs and tools and resources that we offer to not only our Pachamama Alliance communities, but people like you who are dedicated to growing the critical mass of conscious, committed people dedicated to changing the dream of the modern world. So before I get into all that, let me give you some background of Pachamama Alliance. Pachamama Alliance, or the word Pachamama, if you don't know, is a Quechua word meaning Mother Earth. But for indigenous people, it actually means more than that. It's everything of Mother Earth. It's the universe. It's the stars. It's all life. It's all life connected. And so, with Pachamama Alliance, we are an alliance with the universe, with the Earth, because we know we're all connected. We know that we are connected to the water, to the air, to each other, to every bit of this. Our partnership with Pachamama Alliance, we have a partnership with the Achuar community in the Ecuadorian rainforest. And this partnership grew out of an invitation from them to work with them in partnership to preserve their land and their culture, while bringing forth a new worldview that honors and sustains life for all. And as they put it, to change the dream of the modern world. So the Achuar saw a great threat coming upon them because and that great threat in their time was oil development. Oil companies were coming in, Exxon, Mexico, China. Just oil companies are constantly trying to come in there and actually dig and drill up the most biodiverse regions of the rainforest. And while doing that, they're not only killing species and trees and rainforest life, they're also destroying and uprooting cultures that have been there for years and generations and generations. So the Achuar put out an invitation to the modern world because they saw the importance of partnership. If they were ever going to stop this emerging threat, that they would need to make alliances with people of the North. And so that's how our partnership came, because the founders, Bill and Lynn Twist with John Perkins, went down there and answered the call to the invitation. And so our work with them is we focus on help preserve their lands. We pretty much raise money so they can keep the lights on of their work, bring in lawyers so they can protect their lands and fend off oil development. But the majority of our work here in the North revolves around that request that they made to us is like, if we really, really, really wanted to help, it was great that we were shoulder to shoulder with them in Ecuador and in the rainforest, but we needed to actually go back to the North and work on changing the dream of the modern world, work on really challenging how we view our consumption, how we relate to nature, how do we relate to each other. Because of our choices that we were making here has dramatic impacts on cultures that we've never met. And in this case, we met the Achuar, and our choices here, our dependence on oil is actually destroying their culture and livelihood. So with the request from them to change the dream of the modern world, we came back to the North and developed what we call the Up to Us Engagement Pathway. The Up to Us Engagement Pathway is a series of programs that actually look at what it means to change the dream of the modern world, looking at systems and structures that keep us separated, look at systems and structures that keep us asleep and not creating the world that we want to create. So we created that, and within the Up to Us Engagement Pathway, one of the elements is the Awakening the Dreamer Symposium, which is a 2 to 4 hour in-person event that focuses on where we are, how we got here, what's possible now, and where we go from here. And this here is really gets to the essence of kind of personal transformation of what is needed for us to make that transition from to change that dream of the modern world. So why is this important to move to amend affiliates? Is because this is an opportunity for you to host an event with a Pachamama Alliance community, to grow your networks, to share your networks, to engage people in the process of thinking about these issues, and for those who are inspired, work with them to step into action. And the way we support that is we offer in-person trainings, which are weekend trainings. We offer a webinar, which we do every month. It's a 2-hour online webinar. And we also offer an online orientation so you can get trained up in this. And I want to pause before getting into the next section of the Up to Us engagement pathway and see if Jessica or Ruthie want to add anything about the Awakening the Dreamer Symposium.
Hi, y'all. This is Ruthie. I would. I first took the Awakening the Dreamer Symposium in January 2014 when I first came to Move to Amend as an intern. And we all took the symposium. I took it online at that time. I took it later in person with some folks, and that was much better because it's so much about connections. And that's what I wanted to say about it, was that I felt inspired by it, and I felt inspired by the message, which was very much a heart-centered message that spoke to me about why I wanted to be an activist, why it was important to me, and what it meant to me about relationships and about this earth that we inhabit and how we inhabit it together. And so I encourage you as Move to Amend people to attend an Awakening the Dreamer Symposium if there is one in your area. We try to get them out to folks and let you know. So if you hear about one, I definitely encourage you to go and make the connection and learn something about. Learn a little bit about what the Pachamama organization is doing and what they're all about. Thanks so much, Jason.
Thank you, Ruthie. That's great. Yeah, that's the kind of the essence of the Awakening the Dreamer is that the transformational power that it has with people to kind of lead them through a process of what is so, and not leave them there, not leave them in a sense of despair, and not leave them in a sense of hopelessness, but actually in that process move through that we can do something. We created these problems in the world. We've created the destruction. We've created the issues with democracy. And the good news is if we created it, we can also change it. Sorry, I thought there was an issue with my audio, but I'm good. Sorry. And so it takes you from not leaving you in a place of feeling overwhelmed and not anything to do, but moves you into a place where we can change this, and we can change this together. And so from the Awakening the Dreamer Symposium, we also created a 7-week online course called the Game Changer Intensive. And in the Game Changer Intensive, it actually goes deeper into what it means to be an evolutionary activist, if you will, and to how to engage with our collective responsibility and our role in shaping the evolution of life on Earth. You also looking at what it means to strike at the root, to be a game changer, looking at the foundations of game-changing action, and what it really means to change the game. And when we refer to the game, our perception is that the game is rigged. It's rigged for a elite few. It's In the Game Changer Intensive, you actually confront the reality that the system is rigged and that the institutions and systems of social injustice benefit some and dispower others. And so when we can collectively engage in these conversations together, we create a shared language, we create a shared understanding, and we create something that we finally be able to see through the smoke and mirrors that's been created in front of us, and then create collective action to change that game, to create that world that we want to create for us all, and to change the dream of the modern world. So what does this mean to you as a Move to Amend affiliate? This is also another opportunity for you to offer this to the Game Changer Intensive to your members that connects them with their own purpose in the world, and then be able to move into action together to strike at the roots of this rigged system. And what we as Pachamama Alliance offers is we invite people to be moderators of the Game Changer Intensive. And in the Game Changer Intensive, there are breakout groups where you go over the course material together with people from all over the world. We have people from Japan, we have people from China, Mexico, Wisconsin, San Francisco. We have people everywhere that come together to discuss these critical issues of our time. And we can offer, if you go through the Game Changer Intensive and want to become a moderator, you can host these discussions with people around the world. And we also offer moderations on a local level. So what you could do is, in partnership with Pachamama Alliance communities or just with Move to Amend affiliate group, is go through the Game Changer Intensive together on a local level. And that way you're engaging with this material, you're in dialogue with your community, and you build bonds and create a collaborative process together to move on to take effective action. So we offer the two main programs that we offer is the Awakening the Dreamer Symposium and the online course called the Game Changer Intensive. We also realize that you need a place for all this to happen. So we have what we call Pachamama Alliance communities. And currently we have over 61 Pachamama Alliance communities around the world. And as you can see on your screen, Pachamama Alliance communities connect locally and globally to inspire, educate, and empower each other as we build a movement working towards an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, socially just human presence on this planet. But what that also means is that this is a place where we come together and work and do the critical actions that are needed to strike at the root, to change the rigged game, and to build collective actions where we're consciously and collectively changing the dream of the modern world, where we're connecting with each other, where we're connecting with Mother Earth, and we're creating a whole world that works for us all. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this section, that one of the reasons why I love Move to Amend is because they're looking at what it means to build an anti-oppression framework. And this is where that idea, that bullet point that we saw earlier, manifests into actions. It happens in Move to Amend affiliates, it manifests in Pachamama Alliance communities, and it can totally grow and flourish when these two communities come together to take on the task of creating that environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, socially just human presence. So why is this important? It's because you'll have, just because you connect with a Pachamama Alliance community, if you're not already, your network will automatically grow. You have a bigger audience to be in conversation around these issues with. You have people who are trained to deliver both the Awakening the Dreamer Symposium and the Game Changer Intensive. And if you want, we can train you up to do that as well. So how do you find these Pachamama Alliance communities? If you go to pachamama.org and then you click on Learn and Engage, you'll see a section that is called an activity map. And there you can see a list of all the communities, and you can actually click on their communities and contact them directly. You can also see all the events that they host. So that means if you partner with a Pachamama Alliance community to do a Move to Amend Pachamama Alliance Community Waking the Dreamer Symposium, that means you get free advertisement of your event on our website, which you can use to blast on Facebook or whatever. And people come to our website will see that collaboration of that event, and they can register and sign up. And it's just a great way to bring these two worlds together. What we also do within Pachamama Alliance communities, because we want to look at systems and structures of the rigged game, and that's why we focus. Our movement partners is Move to Amend and Citizens Climate Lobby and Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund. We understand we have to strike at the root of these systems that stand as a barrier in creating the world that we want. But we also realize that we also have to challenge systems and structures that keep us separated, because that's the game they play. That's the game the corporations and our government plays. It's a game of separation. It has this fighting amongst each other so much that we lose sight of what is the world that we want to create. So within Pachamama Alliance communities, we offer trainings that we call community days, where we look deeply into what it means to be in a collective, what it means to be in community. And we provide workshops of where reshifts our relationship to each other, reshifts our relationship to what it means to be a leader, because the current narrative of what it means to be a leader in the world is of separation. It's usually one person in front of the room, typically a white man in front of the room telling people what to do. And we need to challenge those systems and structures that keep us separated, that keep us thinking that it's about individual and not about the collective, because the only way we're going to get out of this mess is us working together collectively. So I recognize that I just kind of opened the fire hose on everyone and dumped all of this information on your lap. You can also go to our website, pachamama.org, to kind of go through it a little bit slower and see what we offer. And in this call, we'll kind of slowly unpack it together. And if you had any questions, I'm hoping you're writing those down, because there's a Q&A at the end of this call that we can address. But in a nutshell, that's the work that Pachamama Alliance is doing, is really looking at the systems and structures that keep us separated, divided, and are barriers of us to creating the world that we want to create, and partnering with great organizations and movement builders such as Move to Amend. And we want to partner with you. And so I'm going to stop there, just to take a breath and open it up for Ruthie and Jessica.
Thanks so much, Jason. That's great. That is a lot. It's the Pachamama Alliance has a lot going on, and I highly recommend y'all to check out their website and read more about all of this. I myself am an alum of the Game Changer Intensive and the Symposium, and the Pachamama Alliance has been really kind to welcome us into the curriculum of the Game Changer Intensive. So, they do a great job of kind of getting folks really excited and awake about what's going on, and then you have this energy of well, okay, now I know, but what do I do about it? And so then they give you direct ways to help and to try to fix this problem, which I think is really refreshing, because there's it can be very overwhelming to confront the problems that we're facing. So I really appreciate that both of these programs give folks something to do with that. Let's see, I guess I'll move on to the next slide. And Ruthie, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience working between the two organizations?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jessica. I was going to give you a little bit of a background of my experience with the Pachamama organization too. I told you that I did the Symposium in January of 2014, and then later that year also did the Game Changer Intensive. And I really do encourage you to check out the tools that Pachamama offers us there. It is really very, very, very enriching, both on the information that they have, but also in the connections that can be made by doing the symposium and the Game Changer Intensive. That's what I really treasure there. And what you're seeing on your screen is a quote from one of those people that I really do treasure. I met Cher Tanner um, in a Facebook chat room, actually, and then spoke to her on a Game Changer Intensive alumni call, which a fellow was putting together at that time. And so it wasn't until last year, actually January of this past year of 2016, that I actually got to meet Cher Tanner in person when I went to Florida. And Cher Tanner is from Tampa, Florida. And she came to hear David speak. I have the fortune to travel this last year with David Cobb on the barnstorming, and that was where I was able to meet some and put faces with some of the people that I had met in small groups with the Game Changer Intensive, alumni online, and with Facebook, and that's just really a joy for me. Cher says, I'm always proud during the Awaken the Dreamer symposiums to speak about Move to Mend. Whenever there is a chapter near a symposium location, I encourage the local Move to Amend leader to table at the symposium and provide time for them to speak about the organization and let people know what is being done in that particular area. So Cher is talking here about one of the ways that our affiliate groups and our affiliate leaders are able to interact and work with our the Pachamama Alliance communities. And thank you, Jessica, for moving us to the next transition, which is how you can team up and engage with each other. One of those ways is just like Cher says, to share in tabling opportunities, to invite each other to each other's events, and that's by sharing our events with each other on Facebook, through each other's websites, and through reaching out to each other's lists. Cher always lets me know when she is doing a symposium, and we make sure that we get out a blast to the Tampa area and let our folks know that people can come. And through that, they are starting to build some community there. Some other places that we've had some success with communities are Rochester, New York, where we worked with Sue Staropoli. She put together an event, and we went out and met Sue. Sue was fresh off of one of those community days that Jason was just telling you about, where he and Roger had come out and talked to the Pachamama community there in Rochester, New York, about how they could connect with Move to Amend. And so when I heard about that, I knew that we were going out to Rochester, New York, contacted Sue. Sue put together an event, and David and I were able to go and speak and do some connecting with them. We stayed in Sue's home with her and her husband Frank, and made another just lovely connection of some beautiful activists that are doing wonderful work, and they're continuing that. In fact, in Rochester, they are working to become a new Move to Amend affiliate, coming actually out of their Pachamama community. One of the women that I met while we were there, Padme Livingston, is working on that initiative. But to Sue's quote, it was in the Pachamama Alliance Game Changer Intensive that I was first introduced to Move to Amend as an organization that helps us take collective action to reclaim our democracy. The Move to Amend work, ending corporate constitutional rights and making clear that money is not speech, and climate change are root issues that must be addressed if we really want to change our world. The partnership of these organizations is so perfect. The Pachamama Alliance awakens and inspires people while directing them to Move to Amend and Citizens Climate Lobby, which focus on concrete, powerful, collective action. And that's another way that we're working with the Pachamama Alliance. The Pachamama Alliance has chosen Move to Amend as one of the root striking groups, and that's presented in the sixth module of the Game Changer Intensive, is the whole Move to Amend story and the work that we're doing, along with the Citizens Climate Lobby, as places that are striking at the root. I want to talk now about Noel and Bob Marshall. They are kind of they travel all over the country, talking, doing symposiums among some other work. And I was finally able to meet them in Houston. They are another two individuals, a husband and wife team who travel across the country, kind of speaking the good word and telling the good news of the Pachamama organization and how we really can make a difference and make a change. And I met Noel and Bob online and in one of those breakout chat rooms on a GCI alumni course. Finally got to meet them in person and in Houston. David and I had dinner with them. They came and heard David speak. Again, they always let me know when they are doing a symposium, and try to get someone from the Move to Amend community to come to their symposium and speak on Move to Amend and make another connection there. So I'll go ahead and read the quote from Bob and Noel. They always speak together. Pachamama Alliance and Move to Amend are perfectly aligned in inviting citizens to wake up, wise up, and step up, and into action on that which will make the world a better place by focusing on the core issues in this country. In facilitating the symposium since early 2014, we have always invited local Move to Amend leaders to participate in the symposiums to both share the Move to Amend mission and, where it exists, invite additional engagement in local Move to Amend activities. Move to Amend sits at the very apex of the most broken element of the rigged game of United States governance and our social construct. Big and hidden money in our political process have completely hijacked our democracy. Pachamama Alliance, through its programs, provides context for this situation and the importance of those awakened to the rigged game engaging in the actions that will allow us to regain our form of representative governance. Personally, we have engaged in the political process much more actively as a result of our understanding of Move to Amend's mission and strength in numbers. We encourage everyone in Alliance programs to carefully consider engaging in Move to Amend efforts, and everyone in the Move to Amend communities and programs to engage in Pachamama programs. So as you can hear, Noel and Bob are very enthusiastic supporters of Move to Amend, and we in turn are very enthusiastic supporters of them. So I feel like I have just gushed about what to do here, and how to connect, and what a wonderful thing it is to connect with the Pachamama Alliance. And I hope that you are inspired to find a Pachamama Alliance community in your area and try to host a joint event together and support and promote each other's events. I totally encourage you to sign up for a symposium. And then do the online course, and do that. You can do that as an online course. I encourage you to do it in person if possible. But I also encourage you to go forward and do the Game Changer Intensive. I think it will definitely move your perspective. And the most wonderful thing about that is connecting with folks all over the world. I took the Game Changer Intensive and then facilitated it, I think, four times, and got to meet all kinds of people from all over the world, in addition to people from all over our United States. It's a wonderful way to connect for an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, and socially just world that I know that I, for one, am very moved to work towards. So Thank you very, very much. I'll turn it back to Jessica for our questions, I believe.
Thank you so much, Ruthie, and thanks, Jason. I think that was really great framing of really how important this partnership is and how we help each other. So are there any questions about Pachamama Alliance and the work that they do, or any work that we've collaborated on, or anything relating to this at all? If you do have questions, you can type them into the chat bar there on the left, and we'll answer them for you here. And also, if you think of any questions after this webinar is over, or if you're watching this recording later on, feel free to email me at jessica@movetoamend.org, and I can connect you with Ruthie and Jason and anyone else who could help to answer questions that you think of later. All right, I don't see any questions right now. We'll give this another minute here in case there's someone typing. And I'll just remind you again that, visiting Pachamama.org and checking out all they have to offer is really exciting. And they've got some great videos too that you can watch about their work, and kind of, if you want more clarification about what these programs are and how to get going. And I'll also ask you while we're here to please fill out the survey. Once I end this meeting, you'll see a link come up for you to just fill out a little bit about the quality of the webinar, and that helps us to do better next time. So if you wouldn't mind taking just a few seconds to fill that out, that would be great. Okay, well, I still don't see any questions, so that must mean we did a great job of telling you how wonderful this is. Jason, did you have any final comments or anything to add here?
Well, I just wanted to kind of put a question out there in case it's not going to be asked here, but it's a question that comes up when I talk, when I'm out in the field and talk to people. And when it comes to the partnership between Move to Amend and Pachamama Alliance, one of the questions that come up is like, Move to Amend is doing a lot of work. I mean, taking on such a large aspect of, of this work. And so when they hear about partnering with another organization and using the Awakening the Dreamer or the Game Changer and stuff, sometimes people feel like that's just overwhelming, asking them to take on something else. And so I want to take a moment to kind of address that and know and recognize that it does feel like it can at times feel like it's just another thing that we're asking you to do or to take on when you're already maxed out trying to change the dream already. And the positioning that at least the way that I hold it is the programs of the Awakening the Dreamer and the Game Changer Intensive. I would like to invite you to think of them as tools and resources to use. They're at your disposal, and our Pachamama Alliance community members are trained to deliver them. And the value is that we know in our work, I've been a Move to Amend affiliate, and we know in the work of trying to recruit people to take on this issue of removing money from politics and excuse me, and saying money is not free speech. People are, just the general public feel already maxed out, and they feel like that's overbearing for them just to step into it. The programs make it easy for people to ease into, for lack of a better term, of being an activist. It's an easy way of taking the general public through this process so they deeply understand why it's important to be engaged in these issues. It's not just that you go through the program and then we ask you to do something. These programs are set up to really take you through this experience to move you into action. And this is beneficial for the affiliate leaders because it's an opportunity for you to take advantage of to help bring in the general public to go through this easing, this process that is needed to take on this work. And Pachamama Alliance communities are there for those who are not ready to take on that work, but want to stay in conversation and eventually be into action. So there's a partnership there. There's an alliance there that you can work together to meet people where they are and help them step into that activist role, that engaged role. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you so much, Jason. That's a really important point. Ruthie, do you have anything else you want to add before we close up here?
Sorry, it took me a second to unmute my line. No, I think I spoke enough about how much I love this partnership with the Pachamama Alliance. Jason said that they play this game of separation, and I think this is just another way for us to connect and connect to ourselves and connect to our environment. And connect to our commitment to a socially just world. So thank you so much, Jason, for the work that you do and for everyone at the Pachamama Alliance. It's a beautiful community.
Well, thank you, Ruthie and Jessica. I've been in personal partnership with you two for a very long time, and I love every minute, every time we come together. It's always great. And the partnership with Move to Amend. So thank you.
Well, that is certainly mutual. I know I can speak for both Ruthie and myself that we agree and encourage y'all to check them out and reach out to any of the three of us if you have any questions. And thank you all so much for being here this evening. And if you're tuning in after the fact, thanks for watching this, and have a great night. Thank you so much, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Jessica.